usually when this whole new year thing happens and we get a new number and all that, I like to go over the old sound services, or the ones that I've looked at over the past year, see how they've changed. In this case, it's from 2021 through to 2022, and give them a general overlook, a general review. I haven't done that in a while with Epidemic Sound, so I'm kind of gonna do a whole comprehensive review because it's been a good amount of time. Hey, real quick, if you decide at any point during this video that you want to try out Epidemic Sound, do me a favor, go through the link below. It helps to support me and my channel, and it allows me to keep making review videos like this for you. I would super appreciate it. Thanks. If you're a YouTube creator or any other kind of video creator, you've probably at least gotten an ad for Epidemic Sound. You probably know what it is, especially if you've looked up this video. But really quick, if for some reason you don't know, it's a sound service that you download music off of, and then you're able to use that music or those sound effects in your productions and your creations without having to worry about copyright strikes via YouTube or whatever other platform you're putting it on. Okay? It's pretty straightforward. And that's the huge benefit of having a service like Epidemic Sound, Soundstripe, or Artlist, is you have that peace of mind. And so if you're looking at this video, you're trying to figure out whether Epidemic Sound is worth it price-wise to give you that peace of mind, and whether it's effective, whether it does its job well. So let's take a look at that, starting with the audio quality and quantity. I've actually started to use Epidemic Sound every once in a while for a project here or there. I do a mix of Epidemic Sound and Artlist, and I like them both, and I think they're both right around the same level. So if you're looking at Artlist or Soundstripe as an alternative, Epidemic Sound has good music right along those same lines. I want to note though that Epidemic Sound sounds different than Artlist, and Artlist sounds different than Soundstripe, and Soundstripe sounds different from Epidemic Sound. They have different, it's like they have different music curators obviously working on them, so the music does have a different tone to it. Like it's I suppose I would say Epidemic Sound sounds more like YouTube, so more like the stuff that people use for reviews, for tutorials, that sort of thing that you find on YouTube. Maybe that's because Epidemic Sound is so prevalent among YouTube creators. Regardless, it has a certain sound, and you might like it or you might not like it, and I can't really be the judge of your own preferences. So I'm gonna say it's really good, but that's my personal opinion. The great news with Epidemic Sound, which is something I really like about them and nobody else really does, is they have a true free trial. Some of these other services, they might say they have a free trial, but you can't actually use any of the music. It just allows you to get in there and listen to the stuff. Epidemic Sound actually has a true free trial, which means for 30 days you can use their music in your videos without copyright strikes and without paying, which is awesome. It's amazing. Because when you're considering paying the amount of money that you have to pay for something like Epidemic Sound every single month, or on a yearly basis if you choose to pay that way, it's really nice to have that peace of mind of, I've used it for 30 days, I like it, now I'm willing to hit that button and make the purchase without feeling like you're kind of stepping into an unknown realm, crossing your fingers that you didn't just make a huge monetary mistake. As far as quantity goes, Epidemic Sound has more music than Artlist. I don't think they have as much as Soundstripe. I'm not super well versed on Soundstripe yet. I'm working on it, but I think it's around that same level. Either way, whatever type of service you're getting, they're gonna have a lot. So Epidemic Sound has thousands and thousands of songs. You don't really have to worry about running out of good songs. That's not something that will bother you with Epidemic Sound. But if you're looking for more music that isn't the same as all the stuff you've been listening to on Epidemic Sound, maybe you have had Epidemic for a while and you just, you can't find any new stuff that sounds, say, maybe similar, but not the same, well, Epidemic has an option for you. They have a whole similar song section. You can filter all of the music by similar songs to music that you've downloaded or you liked before. People have this general aesthetic. I'm sure you have a general aesthetic when you're putting together a video, and to go through and try to remember all the different things that you typed in, and whether it's like 1970s or 80s, or you don't have to remember all of that. You can just go back and hit similar songs and find a bunch of new stuff for your new video, which I really like. And that's one of the things that Epidemic is really strong on, in my opinion. Their user experience, their user interface is fantastic. It makes finding new music really easy, and it makes finding the right type of music really easy, because they have tons of filter criteria, whether it's genres, which I was thinking before this video I would count them all up, and then I realized it's way too many to count up. It's just a lot. They have a lot of genres, they have a lot of themes. If you're looking for something really specific, you can get really specific, but if you're just looking for a general genre and just to kind of browse through, you can do that too. I love that they have different levels of that filter, which I haven't seen in other services. One more point in favor of Epidemic Sound's user interface is it feels really personalized. Right when you log on, you're going to be hit with suggestions based on your YouTube channel. And they have your little picture, and they have your name. It's really cool. This might be the same sort of based on your history type stuff you find in every service, but going the extra mile to put your channel picture on there, importing your channel name, all that sort of stuff, it adds to the experience. And a lot of the time, we're paying for an experience, right? And this goes for anything from going to an ice cream store to having a subscription service for your music. All this personalization is great, but it might not be super practical. Like it's giving them extra points, but it's not necessary. What's something that Epidemic Sound has that I think is really necessary and really bumps them up above some of the competition? Well, it's their STEM system, and I might just kind of sound like I'm trying to sell you on it. I'm not, because I use Artlist all the time too. But Epidemic Sound's STEM system is incredible for creatives. Every single song that you can download from Epidemic Sound is broken down into drums, melodies, sometimes vocals. It varies depending upon the song, but every single one is going to have at least some sort of variation. Which is great because a lot of the time when you're making a video like this one, you don't want the full melody, you don't want all of the vocals all the time, but it's hard to blend instrumental version with a version that might have extra vocals, all of that stuff, or you might just want the beat. However, when you want to put in a B-roll sequence and make something look really cool, you can bring in those melodies, you can bring in those vocals when you don't have somebody talking over it. And I think in the end, it allows you to up that production quality of your videos that you wouldn't be able to do if you didn't have the STEM system. So A++ on the STEM system, I really enjoy it, and I think if you do that 30-day trial and you try it out, you might really enjoy it too. Now I know I've been singing Epidemic Sound's praises up until this point, but there are some things that I don't like about it, and most of those are going to revolve around the price and their licensing system. Pricing of Epidemic Sound is kind of up there. It's on par for the personal subscription when you compare it to other things like Artlist or Soundstripe, but the commercial subscription gets kind of expensive. It doesn't seem that bad when you pay for an entire year up front, which is $25 a month. Now that is an extra $100 compared to Artlist, so yeah, it's an extra 50% more expensive than Artlist. But if you decide to go with the commercial subscription and you're paying monthly, they're gonna jack that price up to $50 a month, which is a lot. It's a lot. Now maybe you don't need the commercial subscription, that's fine. Like a lot of people don't need it, especially if you're just a regular YouTuber, that's fine. You can go with the personal subscription, you can use it for YouTube, you can use it for socials and that sort of thing. But you gotta know you can't do any sort of client projects, you can't do any sort of third-party productions with it. On top of this, you can only register one account on each of the social medias to your Epidemic Sound subscription. What that means is if you have 2 YouTube accounts, you're gonna need 2 different personal subscriptions. You can't just use one subscription and then put it on both of your YouTube accounts. You certainly can't do that with 3. You would need 3 personal subscriptions or to switch to the commercial. And for me, that's kind of a big downside. Even if you put away my freelance stuff that I do, I still have more than one YouTube channel. Or if you have a regular YouTube channel and then a clips channel where you post clips of your video, you would need multiple subscriptions. So your hands they're kind of tied with the license. If you want to break those bonds, you have to go with the commercial subscription, which is quite expensive. So I guess to conclude the video, I'd say that if you're a YouTuber, you have one channel, one Instagram, one TikTok, something like that, Epidemic Sound is kind of perfect for you. If you can afford it, it's not the most budget option, but it's very good. You get what you pay for. However, I would say if you're some sort of commercial video producer, you make things for third parties, or you have multiple YouTube channels, you're gonna wanna look at it a little bit closer in comparison to Artlist and Soundstripe. Is it still really good? Yes, but your competition's a lot stiffer. Epidemic Sound is, in my opinion, the best music service for YouTube creators. but maybe not quite the best one for video creators, for freelancers. Thank you so much for watching, even though my voice is a little bit weird. I hope that you have a wonderful and blessed new year. Don't forget, you're an awesome human being, and I hope to see you again soon. See ya.